Hi, everybody. This is DJ Koolbob from Smooth Jams Radio. Our afternoon program is Indie Artist on Air, and I have the privilege and the honor to interview Mr. Chris Jasper. If you don't know who he is, you will now. This is Mr. Chris Jasper from the original Isley Brothers, the Isley Jasper Isley Project, and now as a solo artist. Mr. Chris Jasper, can you say hello to the listeners?
Yes. Hello. How you doing, everyone? Glad to be on the show.
Thank you. First, right off the bat, I can see you've been a singer, a writer, producer, just about everything for the Isley Brothers from their inception. So how long have you been singing?
Wow. Ever since I was like... a very young kid, maybe 6, 7 years old, I used to sing everything I would hear on the radio and try to play it also on the piano. I used to play by ear, and all the popular artists, back then it was Sam Cooke and Ray Charles, people like that. I used to hear their songs on the radio, and then I would go to the piano and try to work it out on piano and sing it. So I've been doing it a long time.
I believe you. I basically see that you self-taught yourself.
Yeah, I did, and I also took lessons. I was fortunate enough to have a piano teacher that taught at the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, and he taught me a lot of things. I learned to analyze music then too, and it was a really good experience. I was very blessed to have that.
That's great. A lot of people don't know your beginnings, which is really helpful. What do you see here? You have a new single that you just released. Can you talk about that? Yes,
the single is called "Inspired." It's a title track from my new album, and it's a love ballad, and the title of the album is called "Inspired by Life, by Love, and by the Spirit." So there's things relating to all of those things in the album, to life situations. There's also some spiritual messages in there, and "Inspired," the single, that's about love experience. So there's something for just about everyone on the album.
I want to reflect. About a year ago, you sent a track to us, which was inspirational gospel tune. "You Never Walked Alone." Am I correct about the name of the track?
It's called "He Walked Alone."
He Walked Alone. Yes.
The story of Jesus.
Yeah.
That was a update of one of my songs from a previous album, and that's of course about the story of Jesus. Starting from the beginning, all the way to the crucifixion, and it tells the story. And it's quite a different arrangement than a lot of my other songs, but I wanted the lyrics to be, out there so people could understand it.
I must tell you, when I first heard that track, I'm going back a year, I think, ago. I put it right into our gospel time programming, which it fell right into place because it seems like sometimes we don't hear enough of inspiring or encouraging words, or just reflecting about, how it can be much worse, or that it can get better. And it just flowed right throughout that programming, our gospel time programming. I want to thank you for that track.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, because I do thank God every day for the inspiration, for those kind of messages, and I think they're much needed, today. People need to be inspired and to be given a certain degree of understanding too, because there's a lot of misinformation out there, about God and about Jesus, and I try to put the truth into my lyrics. I have 4 gospel albums, and they all have some type of information in them. Each song does.
And this new CD that Inspired, they can purchase this where?
Yes, you could go, on iTunes, or you can Amazon. You could go on CD Baby, and download. Also, the physical CD is available on CD Baby. You could go to Facebook/GoldCityMusic.com, and that'll take you to the place where you could buy it, or you could just ask in any store. It's available on CD as well.
Great, great. Before this CD inspired, have you worked on any other projects besides this?
Yes, for my record label, most recently was a dance CD from my son Michael Jasper.
Yes.
Called Addictive.
Yes.
And then I've worked with Shaka Khan on her CK album. That was some years ago. I had a group on Gold City called Brothers by Choice, and I produced their CD. So there's been different things that I've done through the years that I've worked on other projects.
Great, great. Right now, if you was to start up your car and going to where you're going, what would we hear in your car? What CD would you be listening to?
I like Luther Vandross. I like Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, that kind of stuff. Bands, as far as bands are concerned, I think Earth, Wind and Fire is like on the top of my list. So stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Motown, I really like the Motown music. I was kind of grew up on that.
Motown has still it's still all their artists basically is still being played. I play a lot of Motown music here as well. What's trending for you, Mr. Chris Jasper? What is your fashion? What is the trending going on with you right now?
Well, the thing, if that's musically, it's kind of the R&B that I started, doing, say, with the Isley brothers, back there in the 70s, and with a little different, flavor in it, if it would, because I think that music is really coming back. That kind of approach to music is coming back, and I hear it in a lot of things now. So I think that's why I did Inspired, because it's the R&B that people are kind of used to hearing from me, and I kind of just went back and did that and kind of put a little extra spice to it. My son Michael is actually doing some of the rhythms in this album, which does give it that current kind of feel to it. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I'm doing now.
Okay, I have a question I'd like to ask. If there was a song, past, present, recent, if you could do it again or do it over, do a remake, is there a song that comes to mind?
Wow, one song. I really liked "A Change Is Gonna Come" by Sam Cooke. That kind of just comes to mind, right off the top of my head, because he was a big influence on me as a singer, and maybe from something from Marvin Gaye too, because as a singer, those two were kind of the biggest influences on me.
Wow, I love that song. It's a very timeless music there.
Yeah.
As far as you've been singing for a few decades. I'm not trying to give away your age, but
all right.
but you've been doing it for a while. If you weren't singing, what would you be doing?
Well, I have a law degree, so I guess I'd be practicing law in some type of way. And I started off. I was going to go to school for architecture when I graduated high school. Mm-hmm. So I might even be doing that, because I liked, designing buildings and houses and things like that. So either architecture or law.
Well, architecture, really, like you said, you're creating and building is the same thing as producing and engineering in the music. So that definitely flows with what you're already doing now as an artist.
Yeah, there are a lot of parallels. I agree. Yeah, taking something and building from the bottom up, which is kind of how I construct my songs. I take it from one phase and then build on it. And it's sort of like it sort of has the same principles in it as architecture.
Well, yeah, you have to have the basics where your groundwork starts, and I guess how you build it.
And a vision. The most important thing is the vision.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the vision starting off, and if you have that vision, you're able to complete it. So, there are similarities.
Yes, definitely. Is there anything new coming up for Chris Jasper or your record label coming up for you down the road?
Yeah, well, my son Michael, he's working on another project right now, so that's coming up. He has college now, so he has to work in between, the two things. So
okay.
I think maybe sometime this summer he might be finished with that project. I'm also considering doing some, live performances off of this album. So, we're going to promote it for a while,
mm-hmm.
Get it out there, get people familiar with it, and then, sometime maybe later this year, start to schedule some dates. So that's what's on the horizon for us.
That's great. You have a plan, and I'll be honest with you. I can't see why you wouldn't be able to sell out venues because your music is timeless and it's relevant. I definitely appreciate. I mean, when I was looking at your bio, I was like, you wrote some really, really baby making music. Let's just keep it real, and it's really great music that from yesterday, and it's relevant as of today, especially even with your newest CD release. So it's really glad. I'm really glad that you're still keeping busy and you're still keeping your foot to the pedal. No grass is. It seems like no grass is growing under your feet.
Yeah, I said one other time too is when you're a composer, it's hard not to do it. That's what I am. I went to school for it. I went to school for composition, and the creative process never stops. Sometimes I'll get an idea in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
One of the songs on the album is called "In My Dream," and I got it in a dream.
No, that happens.
And things, come to me at different times. So that process continues. And I'm just blessed that I can do it. So I'm going to keep on.
That's great. Yeah. As long as you can, please keep us informed and keep us up to date. I have one more question for you, Mr. Chris Jasper. Mm-hmm. I'm DJ Koolbob of Smooth Jams Radio. Our programming in the afternoon is Indie Artist on Air, and I am interviewing Mr. Chris Jasper, although he's not new, but he does have new material, new music that he likes to get out there. So another question I'd like to ask you is, turning back the time, turning back the clock, do you remember your first song ever hearing?
I would have to say that the first song I ever heard was a song that my mother played on piano. She played piano too, and once in a while she'd get up in the living room and play from music. She read music, and she had the sheet music of Autumn Leaves, and she used to play that a lot. And I think if there's something that, because I heard her play before I heard the radio, so
right.
So, it would have to be something like that, Autumn Leaves, from, when I was like a tiny, tiny tot,
I love asking that question, I have no more questions for Mr. Chris Jasper, but would you like to shout out or acknowledge anyone to the listeners or parting words for the listeners?
Well, yes, I'd always like to thank the listeners and the people who supported my career over the years. I mean, that's I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful to be able to record music and be a recording artist. And of course, the fans are, the ones that keep us going. So, from the Isley Brothers career, the Isley Jasper Isley, and my solo career, I just want to say thanks so much for the support and really just echo the lyrics from one of the songs in the album. And the song is called Keep Believing, and it's about